Yuri Boyka?
Son, you know, once you start, there's no going back.
The most complete fighter in the world.
Wait a minute!
The most complete fighter in the world.
World.
In the movies, the man moves like a machine, throwing brutal spinning kicks, flying knees, and bone-shattering counters. His fights are raw, brutal, and perfectly executed. But let's be real, could someone actually fight like him in the UFC? Many fighters train in styles that resemble Boyka's: Taekwondo, Muay Thai, Sambo, and Capoeira. Some even pull off wild moves in actual fights. But here's the catch: just because you can fight like Boyka doesn't mean you can win like him. So before we break down why a real-life Boyka would struggle in the UFC, make sure to like and subscribe if you love deep fight breakdowns. Now, let's get into it. Can someone learn to fight like Boyka? Absolutely. There are countless martial artists who can throw spinning kicks, tornado kicks, jumping knees, and acrobatic counters just like Boyka. In fact, we've seen flashes of this in the UFC before. Zabit Magomedsharipov, one of the most dynamic fighters to ever compete in the UFC. Zabit had insane movement, spinning back kicks, and unpredictable attacks that made him look like something out of an action movie. Michel Pereira, a human highlight reel. This guy flips off the cage, throws insane flying knees, and moves like a character from a fighting game. Edson Barboza, if we're talking kicks, Barboza might be the closest to Boyka's style. His spinning wheel kick knockout against Terry Edom is still one of the craziest knockouts in UFC history. Anthony Pettis, this man ran up the cage and kicked Benson Henderson in the face, earning one of the most legendary moments in MMA history. So yes, people can train and fight like Boyka, but the real question is, why don't they? Stamina. Boyka fights at 100% intensity the entire time, spinning, flipping, striking with full power every second. In real life, this kills your cardio. Explosive movements require maximum energy output. In a real fight, a fighter who constantly throws wild kicks will gas out before the second round even starts. Fighters like Yoel Romero have shown bursts of insane athleticism, but even he had to slow down and conserve energy to survive 5 rounds. That's why UFC fighters use measured pacing. They conserve their energy, pick their shots, and don't waste movement. Grappling. Boyka looks invincible because no one shoots for takedowns. But in real MMA, wrestling changes everything. The moment you throw a spinning kick, you expose your back. A wrestler like Khabib Nurmagomedov or Islam Makhachev would see that, time it perfectly, and take you down instantly. Even elite strikers like Israel Adesanya had to develop strong takedown defense to avoid getting controlled on the ground. Remember Tony Ferguson versus Beneil Dariush? Tony tried a rolling thunder kick and got taken down immediately. In real fights, grapplers kill flashy strikers by waiting for them to make one mistake. And Boyka's entire style is one big highlight reel risk: timing and counterattacks. In the movies, Boyka never gets countered. Every shot lands clean, but in real fights, that's not how it works. If you mistime a spin, a high-level striker will read you and knock you out. Just ask Chris Weidman what happens when you throw a lazy spinning kick. Against Luke Rockhold, Weidman attempted a slow spin kick, got countered, and was brutally finished. Anderson Silva, one of the greatest strikers ever, tried getting flashy against Weidman and got knocked out cold. The best strikers in the UFC don't rely on wild kicks. They use precise, efficient, high-percentage techniques. Could a real-life Boyka exist? To make Boyka's style work in real life, a fighter would need insane cardio to sustain high-energy movements without slowing down. Elite grappling to prevent wrestlers from exploiting openings. Perfect fight IQ to know when to use flashy moves without taking unnecessary risks. No one has fully mastered that balance, but if someone could, they'd be one of the most dangerous fighters in UFC history. So at the end of the day, can you fight like Boyka in the UFC? Sure, if you want to get taken down, gassed out, or knocked out. The movies make him look unstoppable, but in real fights, efficiency always beats flash. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe for more fight analysis.